unexpected live stream. Just doing a little bit of a reading this evening. Wait for you guys to come in. If you guys are watching after, you could skip ahead a little bit. Shalom, shalom. Gonna start in a few minutes, just waiting for some people to get in. Shalom, brother. It's refreshing to be here always. All praise to the Most High. Thank you for stopping by, sister, as always. I know this was unexpected. Selah, my brother. What? Why? What's ending? What's ending? I don't think Selah is a greeting. You told me that pretty much said goodbye. Shalom. What's going on? I'll start in about 30 seconds. So for the people who are here already, you can pick up the Book of Remembrance of Enoch, the Essene of Haggai. We're gonna be in chapter 7. And if you guys don't have the physical copy, you can go into my library. If you don't know how to get to my library, just go click on my page and click on the first video. It should be like a symbol that looks like this, but it's blue. It's the video that I did. I put the link of my library in the description. So if you guys want to follow along, the link is there. We're in the Book of Remembrance of Enoch, the Essene of Haggai. So guys, yeah, I've been doing a lot of running around today, and I wasn't gonna do this topic. I think Sabal did a video on Christmas as well. I haven't watched it yet, but I'll probably watch it later. So maybe he already touched on this, I'm not sure. But my grandparents, I was wondering, I was like, damn, they finally did not put a Christmas tree up. And I was so happy for them. But they were begging me to to use the electric chain. I don't know, it's like this electric tool. They're old, they don't know how to use electric tools. So they asked me to do it. So I used it, and I'm like, why do they want me to break this chain so damn badly? Right? And once I break it and I do whatever I'm doing, I come back in the living room and it's the Christmas tree that's there. And I'm like, so they were begging me to use this thing so that I can get them their damn Christmas tree. So that annoyed the hell out of me, and that made me want to do this live. I'm playing Grinch tonight. We're playing Grinch tonight. And we're gonna educate some people on where this madness comes from. Yeah, you could imagine my face. And they were just like, oh, thank you so much. And I'm just looking at them with a stone cold face. Like, I just shook my head, and now I'm here doing this live stream. Oh my gosh, man. I don't understand. Just when I thought that they couldn't be, they could chill on their foolishness just for 1 year. Nah, man, they had to do it. Anyway, we're in chapter 7. Now, in fact, terrible. In fact, let's actually go back a little bit of verses. We're actually going to go to chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 109. So chapter 6, verse 109. Gotta buy land in Arizona and grow plants, man. Hey, we gonna get to that eventually, bro. We're gonna get to it eventually. Hopefully we won't have to buy land. Um, you know, hopefully I can get on board with Itali and we can figure out how to get our own land pretty much, but we'll get there. That's another topic. Let's begin. Chapter 6, verse 109. And they did not know why, but this question brought by the serpent troubled them deeply. And Kawa turned to Yatsaquad and said, why am I afraid? So to give you guys a little bit of backstory, this is the story of quote unquote Adam and Eve in the garden, right? And their dealings with the serpent, which was really Semihaza, right? So the serpent, that he was working on them for a while. Like this is like the full story on how he was able to tempt them, right, into doing something that was wicked. It wasn't literally eating fruit off of a tree. It was much deeper than that, right? No, Eve did not have sex with the serpent. That's not what happened either. All that's conjecture, bro. But let's figure out what happened according to this account. And it came to pass, upon hearing these words, that Yahtzquad went out alone to pray. And he said to the Lord, why, Father, are we both brought to fear by the words of the serpent? So the first father, Yahtzquad, or what people know as Adam, is asking the Most High why they're afraid when the serpent pretty much lies to them and tells them things. And the Most High said, the name of the serpent is called Arum, and she also is not now clothed upon in righteousness, in the same manner as Matzor the decadent, for she is bustly engaged in pursuing the glory, held up before her eyes by him. And his visions for her that are rebellious have become very desirable to her. Thus the serpent is the second thing in Eden to be naked, and you are to see that she comes not any more to the place of water in your abode. So I wanted to read that because that's going to go into what nakedness really is, right? It's pretty much to be like to have some sort of guilt or shame, right? And people have said that before, like, oh yeah, nakedness is the knowledge of doing good and evil, is lacking innocence. We're gonna get to it now. We're in chapter 7. I read that in TSP. What's TSP? And it came to pass that Kawa began to worry that she could not raise up baby Kene, or Cain. Kene was his original name, unto the Most High. And she began to fear that she would fail in her task as a mother. And she thought about how the Lord had given her the Kelly and taught her how to make bread so that she could keep fear away. So again, the bread that was given to them as a protection, the daily bread, was given to them as a protection against fear or accusations, as we went over last week. The seal portion, okay. Well, this account is a little bit different, so we might get a different perspective. And she thought, I do not know how to divide between comfort and fear in behalf of this child. And the heart of Kawa began to be burdened with her doubts. You see, guys, this one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves is not to doubt ourselves, right? We must follow the spirit and trust in the spirit. Abdullah, he released a really good video earlier, and one of the lines that he said is like, how could you pretty much like convince me to doubt what the spirit is telling me? That's one of the most evil things you could do. And that's how you know what spirit someone's coming out of. If they try to get you to self-doubt yourself, what people call gaslighting you, right? Like that's a terrible thing, man. Like you can't be gaslighting people, bro. But this is what, these are the thoughts that are going into the head of our first mother, right? She's experiencing a lot of self-doubt. Okay. And the heart of Kawa began to be burdened with her doubts and her perplexities, And Yatzaquad was also troubled. And in these things, the presence of Matsor drew near, and the spirit was able to move out in Eden, beyond the region of Simca. So everything starts with us. Like there is a such thing as, Satan or whatever, but we're the ones who allow him in. We literally do. And we do it with our what? Our insecurities. Insecurity, doubt comes from insecurity. You don't have doubts unless you're insecure about something. Our first mother was insecure about raising quote unquote Cain or Kenna, right? She was insecure about it. It was a task that never had been done before. And she was just like, I don't like she just got really nervous, right? And from that day, Kawa began to look upon the serpent with disdain, and she felt no sorrow as she threw rocks at Arun to keep her away from the place where she had made bread. And in her heart, she yearned to be rid of her anxiety. And inside of the soul of Kawa, there began to be a struggle with temptation. And the question Arun asked, "Do you know how?" would not leave her mind. Oh, man. So the phrase, "do you know how?" pretty much, okay, that's very deep. I actually didn't think about that before I started this, when I read this through before I turn on this live. So the phrase, "do you know how?" there's an inherent sense of self-doubt that goes into that phrase, because you're wondering how you're going to do something before you're supposed to do it, right? Well, the Most High, like, how are we going to be able to come back to him? Like, we don't have any of these records. We don't know what to do. Don't worry about knowing how to do it. He's going to show you how to do it. That's very important, man. Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's interesting. Okay, so let's continue. And the sayings of Enoch said remained in her heart. And he told them that baby Kenna was a gift that was given unto him. And now he had given the baby to them. So that's something that's also important. We have to remember what the Creator told us to do, right? Satan, he's going to push whatever he's going to push, but the Most High gave us a promise. I'll give you an example. When I first picked up the books of remembrance, I was feeling there was an underlying theme of Israel doesn't matter, right? It's just really about, righteous versus wicked, and if we all come together, we're all one. And I hated that, bro. I could not stand that. It never made sense to me, right? So I told the Most High, I like it was almost like he was trying to trick me into giving up like my birthright. Because I'm gonna be very real with you guys. I was pretty much saying, listen, if I'm gonna be anywhere hand in hand with these stinky, stupid Gentiles after what they did to me and my people, then I don't want to go where they're going. You can give them the kingdom. I don't want it. That's how like, man, that's how upset I was. But I wasn't gonna say, you know what, like, I don't pray against people. I don't do stuff like that. So instead, I'm like, all right, well, I don't have to go there, right? Wherever I'm supposed to go, I don't want to be where they're going. But I was driven to that because that's that's how the Gentiles have phrased these writings, right? And other writings too, right? They phrase some of the New Testament like that, or they interpret it like that, or whatever, right? It's in the Book of Mormon too. Israel doesn't matter. The Gentiles can be just like the covenant people, right? That stuff upsets me, bro. But I had to humble myself and I had to pray to the Most High, like, can you just give me this understanding? And he just kept filling my head with the scriptures that we had already. And then it occurred to me, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Once we have records, we're always like, yo, like, we're the chosen, we're the chosen, we're the chosen. But once the Gentiles get a hold of our records, all of a sudden we're all the same. We're all Christians under one God, right? All of a sudden, right? So which one is lying? And it's the same thing here. It's the same thing here. The Most High already told us that we are the covenanted people. That's never going to change. Now my resolve is much stronger. And now Semihaza can get into my heart and fill me with doubt and try to tell me, oh, you're like, what's the difference, right? And the inherent problem with that is that would make the Most High into something that is unjust. See, someone who is just, someone who believes in justice and equality and fairness is not going to put us in the same level as a bunch of people who oppressed us. He's not about to do that. So I can't look at the Most High like that. I can't look at him as a just being while also trying to view from a Christian perspective. It's not possible for me. It's not. I'm not saying that, Gentiles can't be saved, but these writings are trying to perpetuate that there is no more Israel. And I can't respect that. That's not cool. That's not okay with me. So I understand where the first mother is coming from. We've all had doubts, right? So we've broken out of doubts before. So this stuff is very understandable. Let me see. Right. They curve the scriptures to get in their message, not the truth. Exactly. And they're always trying to put themselves into stuff. But now I'm more confident than ever. And I'm like, listen, I don't care what it says in the book. I am the book. You can't lie to me. It's in my DNA. I'm gonna release we'll do another live stream tomorrow. We're gonna go out we're gonna touch on the Lord of the Rings, man. And we're gonna touch on the elves and stuff like that. We're gonna have some fun tomorrow. But anyway, let's continue reading. And then the sayings of Enoch said remained in her heart, when he told them that baby Kenna was a gift that was given unto him. And now he had given the baby to them. So so you have on one side, you have the Most High telling, our first parents, hey, this is a gift to you. This is a gift. And Samihaz is telling them, well, how are you going to raise it? You don't even know what to do. You're going to fail. How are you going to do this? You have to pick which side you're going to believe, bro. You have to be confident because he is going to poke holes in you, right? This is why you have to sure up yourself. You can't have any insecurities when it comes to this dude, bro, because he will find everything. He'll poke at anywhere that he can. You have to be very strong, right? You have to believe what you say and say what you believe. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Let's continue. And it came to pass that in those days Enoch came to visit often, to teach them how to care for the baby. And he taught them how to use soft grass that was tied in the middle as a garment for the baby. And it was like the grass they used to dry their hands at the wedding. And even though he taught them all these things, the doubts and anxieties never left the heart of Kawa. And she continually worried that she would not be able to distinguish between the comfort of Enoch and the fear of Matsur. So we have to really trust the Most High when he says, listen, I got you. Do not listen to the other side as like, well, how does he got you? Don't listen to him, bro. This is the same tactic he used on quote unquote Eve. It's the same tactic. Or as it could be said, she could not be sure to rightfully divide between good and evil in order to keep her child in the way and raise him up unto the Lord. So we can't always, that's why the scripture says that you can't believe what your heart says, because your heart will lie to you. It could be your worst enemy. That's true and false at the same time, because your heart can also be the Holy Spirit. Like, you have to know which one is coming from where, right? And sometimes it's hard to remember. You're just like, well, the scripture said this, the precept said that. You're not going to remember the whole book. And that's why the Messiah said, certain things. Like, the law has to be based on love, right? Anything that's based on love is usually coming from the Most High. So that's how you're able to rightfully divide between good and evil. If there's love behind it, okay, that's probably from the Most High. Because you can't remember all these hundreds of precepts. Like, that's unreasonable. It really is. You could try to. And if you can, then you're the man. But not everyone could do that, right? If you go over, okay, so let's use this as an example, right? Love. Let's try to trace back which one is coming from where. You have one side that's saying, how are you going to take care of your child? The other side is saying you have everything you need to take care of your child. If you are going, well, which one is coming in love? Would the Most High give me a child that I can't take care of? And if he does, he's not showing love. That's how you get to the truth. Love is always at the center of everything, as far as the truth. So if you want to differentiate between good and evil, there must be love behind it, right? Truly. So let's continue. And the song Enoch sang at the birth of baby Kenna seemed to only be said to her, only be sad to her, seeming, let's read that again. And the song Enoch sang at the birth of baby Kenna seemed only to be sad to her, and forebodings would descend upon her, and she did not know why, and day by day her fears and doubts grew. And it came to pass that one day she was weeping, and seeing a room in the way, while she was gathering a seed, and she went a walking. And she had baby Kenna with her. And as she walked, she came upon a cedar tree. A cedar tree. Which is given life by Messiah with the feelings of clinging tenuously unto all the good in you. So if you were to inverse that, then that would pretty much expand all the evil or something like that, right? It could be used as a very strong element of evil in the opposite direction. Satan from the beginning was manipulating them as he still does to us today. Exactly. And this is the blueprint of how we did it to them. So it's good to go over this stuff so that we don't get caught in the same web of deception and lies. But yes, the cedar tree could be used for, great righteousness or great wickedness. So I wonder, when is the cedar tree used on a worldwide scale for wickedness? I wonder. And she said to the tree as she uncovered baby Kenna, and she held him out, "Look, I am the mother now. See?" And she wept, and she said, "But I am afraid." And the subtleties of a room were in her heart, and the spirit of Matsor drew near. And he said to her in her heart, "You could become like God, and know how to keep fear from your child, if you used the tree that is before you, for you are very good, and you are good enough, that you were willing to give the child back to Enoch for him to raise up." You see how deceptive he is. So, so the spirit of Matsor, or really Semihaza, it came into her heart, telling her all this stupidity, right? Now, what Kawa should have did is she should have said, "You know what? Let me just ask the Most High. Let me stop. Let me ask the Most High." They have that saying, whenever something happens that upsets you, you stop and you pray, right? That's the saying, right? That people say, right? Yeah, but it's very true, honestly. So that's what she should have did, but it is what it is. So let's continue. And it came to pass that Kawa took heed to that voice. So she listened to the wrong voice. And she determined to use the cedar tree. And she intended to speak to it about her desires. And in her heart she did not want the child to be near, when she took her case before the tree. And she took little Kenna home. And he rested on the moss with his father. And she returned back to the tree again. And she knelt upon the ground in the dirt beneath it, with her legs folded under, and she bowed herself forward, with her face toward the ground, and she held her face with her hands. And she said to the tree, "Oh, help me to feel all the good that is in me, for I am good enough to give the child back to Enoch for him to raise, for I am afraid I cannot be a mother, and raise him up unto the Lord." So this is what Satan did when he got into the heart of our first mother, and influenced her to do, to give back the gift that the Most High gave her, and pretty much disavowing her motherhood. And the tree was afraid, and it cried out, "Do not speak to me so." And the tree desired to turn her face away from Kawa. But Kawa did not hear the tree, and she was comforted by the thought that she was good enough to be willing to give the child back. So this is the problem, bro. When insecurity gets into your heart, that's when accusations can come, right? Accusations of, well, what are you going to do? Well, if you don't do this, you won't be a good mother. Oh my gosh. And then you listen to the accusations. Then once you listen to the accusations, he has you, right? He's able to influence you, and get you to go down this wrong path. He does it to everybody, bro. He does it to everybody. Let's continue. Because I want to read the whole chapter if I can. Oh, yeah. So Kawa, she lied to herself pretty much. Like, she was just like, you know what? I'm good enough. But she should have honestly just repented, right? It is a sin to even think that the Most High gave you something and, like, by mistake. Like, he gave you something by mistake. That's a sin. You're not supposed to think that. You're not supposed to ever think that, well, I'm not good enough. If you say that you're not good enough at something, then you're pretty much saying that the Most High is not good enough, that he's unfair, that he would send you here not good enough. Well, I'm not smart enough to complete this task, right? Moses, he actually should have never said, you know what, I can't speak to the children of Israel. You should have had trust in the Most High. You know what, if you're giving me this mission, then I'm sure that you're going to help me do it. And because of that, Aaron got into the mix, and Aaron started writing all this nonsense in the scriptures. You see, everything comes from doubt and insecurity, bro. We can't. When the Most High tells us to do something, if we don't know how to do it, we don't even we're just like, okay, I don't know how to do it, but I trust in him. If you really trust in the Most High, you're not going to second guess him, like, at all. You're just going to do what he asks you to do, you know? Because when you do second guess him, that is when this dude comes and he's able to influence you to make your journey that much harder. You don't want that, bro. Excuse me. I often look to how Satan did our first parents as a reference when things arise in my life of a challenge. That's a great exercise to do. That's a fantastic exercise to do. I do that sometimes too. I actually used to do that a lot, but I stopped doing it as much. And when I did, I noticed that I got caught doing, stupid stuff again. And I was just like, dang. So that's a great thing, honestly. From the book of Adam and Eve, he continued to send out demons to them and harass them. Right? Doubt opens doors to sin. It is the ultimate door. It is the ultimate gateway to it. Self-doubt is one of the worst things you could do, right? Because that's where it all begins. Because doubt is from insecurity. Insecurity, that's the origin of all evil, really. And honestly, insecurity arises from arrogance because you think that the Most High, he sent you here unequipped. He never sent you here unequipped. You have everything. He's going to tell you. Joseph, he didn't know how he was going to do something, and the angel, he came to him the night before and and told him all those languages to speak, right? Did Joseph know how he was going to do that? No. We have to trust him in all things. Truly, we have to have that sort of faith. Oh, there's my song. I hear the voice of my grandmother's song. She said, your power, she said. I don't know the words. I'm glad you're bringing this out. I'm struggling with this with my children, and Satan is using someone to make me feel like I'm not doing enough. Oh, man. Yeah, that's bad. No. If you feel like you need help with something, just ask. Ask the Most High and wait for him. He will help you. He will help you. There's been many times where I was just like, I asked him and I didn't think it would happen, and it didn't happen. And then one time I was just like, you know what? I just don't care, bro. Like, I'm not getting anywhere by doubting myself. So I might as well just fully just like, you know what? I'm gonna leave this to you. What those Christians say, Jesus take the wheel, Earth pig take the wheel, right? That's pretty much what I did, and I got results, right? That's what I got. So I was just like, whoa, this is different. You have to trust in him fully. If you don't feel like you're doing enough, ask him. He will help you. Like, that's the crazy part. And it's almost like, damn, I could have did this the whole time. I just had to ask and have a lot of faith. Hey, look, man, listen to what the elder is saying in the song. Stand in your power, she says. Stand in our power. You get to stand in your power. Your power is the Most High. Uh, the Most High really can do anything. Like, you have to truly believe that you are, like, you can bring His power down here with your faith. You could bring it down here, and He'll do everything for you, every and anything. So if you truly feel like you're not doing enough in your head, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, to feel like you could be doing more, right? If you feel that way, now the how you can mitigate or you can correct the mistake that our first mother made. Because all right, so it wasn't wrong to feel like she you know, it wasn't wrong to be afraid. What was wrong was that she did not go to the Most High and tell the Most High, listen, I'm afraid. She just kept it in her mind and said, no, no, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. What am I going to do? She never went to the Father and said, like, I'm afraid, right? That's her problem. Hello, sister. Thank you for stopping by. Excuse me. Okay, let's continue to read. Listen to the story of our first grandmother. Hear the voice of my grandmother's calling me. All right, let's continue. Uh, but Kawa did not hear the tree, and she was comforted by the thought that she was good enough to be willing to give the child back. And thus she used the tree to deny her motherhood, and the subtleties of Matsur and Arum twisted the truth about that which is good and that which is evil. Now, this is why I try to tell people, man. This is why Satan, he came to Kawa. He did not go to the first father, because men, we have a stronger sense of right and wrong. Like, that's what we were given. That's our strength. That's our power. So, she should have went in a different direction. She should have went to the Most High, or she should have went to, Yatsaquad or her husband, and told him, like, you know, like, can you ask the Father for me, or could you help me out with this? That's what she should have did. And even now, our women don't trust us enough to tell us that. Like, yo, like, when they are unsure about something, they do it by themselves, and they don't make the best decision. Men are the ones that were given the power of righteousness. Talks about that in the family tablet. So she should have did that, you know. But this is just a lesson for us to learn. 15. And thus our first mother used an element of creation to magnify a lie that came from her doubts and fears, and she partook fully of the spirit of the tree, and drank the feelings of the tree into her soul. And she filled herself falsely with the feelings of the good that was in her, because she was willing to give the child back, and it brought her comfort, and her fears seemed to abate. But honestly, that that was this is what happens now, right? This just happens on a little bit more of a selfish scale, right? And it's a sad thing, bro. But motherhood and fatherhood, those are some of the greatest gifts that we have. They're gifts. You don't give a gift back. That's rude. You just take the damn gift. It's rude, bro. You feel me? It's a lifetime of learning. It is. It's a beautiful thing, though. Continuing, but I beheld her as she sat under the tree, and I saw her arise. And when she stood up to leave, she shook both her hands as though she felt she was dirty. And she rubbed her hands upon her garments, and never before had any such feelings come to her. So she felt dirty after, going through that whole process, right? Of lying to herself, or believing the lie that, Semihaza told her, and then lying to herself. Saying, oh yeah, I'll just give up the child and I don't have to have that responsibility anymore. Right? And it's not that she didn't want to love the child. That's not it. She just didn't know what to do. It's sad, bro. This dude, Semihaza, is merciless. Like, absolutely merciless. And as Kawa departed, she was a little way off from the tree, and she turned herself and looked back at the tree, and her eyes were opened, and she beheld the tree to be darker than all the trees around it, and it did not shine with the light of God, nor radiate the light which is in it, which is the arm of the Lord. And she saw that the tree was no longer clothed upon in righteousness, and she was perplexed, but she continued on her way, and wondered what it could mean. So the tree had become darkened by, the sin that she committed when she gave up her first child, her only child, that was born in Eden. And she returned home, and she brought all that which she felt with her, and she told Yatsaquad of her plan to give the child back, and she told him that they should do so because they were good, and he also partook of the feelings of the tree that were in her, and he agreed to perform it with her, and thus he too was beguiled by the subtleties of Matsur into denying his fatherhood. And honestly, brothers, this is why you have to be very, very strong. Like, when your woman brings back some nonsense, because Satan is gonna really attack you through women. That is how Satan attacks us. He attacks men through women, right? He just flat out attacks women, but he attacks us through women. So we have to be very, very strong, and we have to say, listen, this is right, this is wrong, right? And that's what we just have to do. Like, that's not what he should have did. The same way how she should have went to her husband and asked him, and like, hey, like, this is what I'm feeling, or went to the Most High and asked him. Instead, she went and made her own decision. And he did the same thing. Instead of going to the Most High and asking the Most High, he did his own decision. He did his own thing, right? And he did his own thing because, again, he doesn't want to feel lonely. The woman is the heart of the man. So the man is like, if the woman's going that way, he's going to be like, damn, I want to go over there. I want to have fun too. Because the woman's supposed to like, she's supposed to let the man have fun, right? As I said last time, the world would be very bland without women. But, a man, he still has to be grounded. He has to be the grounding, right? He has to be the structure. The woman is the paint, right? On top of the cold, hard bricks. But he was not going back to his bricks, bro. He wasn't, and he messed up here. Anyway, continuing. And it came to pass that Yatsuqa was not comforted, and seeing him troubled, Kawa rehearsed to him what she had seen, and when she had beheld the tree to be no longer clothed upon in righteousness, and in his heart he knew something was and he knew something very important was amiss, but he could not discern what it was. And he remembered that the Lord had told him to avoid anything that was not clothed upon in righteousness. So while Kawa, she was just like, oh yeah, it wasn't clothed upon in righteousness. right? And he was just like, wait a minute, hold on, what? Like, no, there's something wrong here. Now, the reason why he did that, again, is because we have an inherent sense of right and wrong. Do we always follow it? No, we don't. Especially according to our feelings, we might not do it, right? You'll have dudes that will kill, who kill another man over a woman. Why? Because they want to. They know it's wrong, but they'll do it anyway, right? And it's something similar, bro. Like, we really have to be uh staunch in our walk. We don't have to be stoics, but this is why the scriptures is written in a certain way, right? This is why Solomon said what he said. That's why David said what he said, you know. That's why they said what they said. And it came to pass that their fears grew stronger day by day. And strangely, they felt anxiety to think about seeing Enoch again. And the possessions of Kawa no longer brought comfort to them. And the bread only helped for a little while. And everything seemed to be airy. And the cavity of the rock began to feel like the rocks of the fountain of Simca. And all the world of their happiness was moved. And Kawa would shake her hands as to be rid of something unclean. And it came to pass that finally in their despair they called out to Anokased, and he came to them. See, why did they wait until they were in despair? You must do this before it gets this bad, right? As soon as the thought comes in, that's when you should be calling on the Most High. Not when you make a decision and then you mess up on the decision and now you're like, oh my God, save me, save me. Now you can do that and he will forgive you and he will comfort you at any point in that, whenever you ask. But what they already did has consequences. Their actions have consequences. What scripture are you on now? I'm still in chapter 7. The book of remembrance of Enoch, the Essene of Haggai, chapter 7, in like the verse 20s or so. True, and he's still at it for thousands of years. Yep. And it came to pass that finally in their despair they called out to Anokased, and he came to them, and they beheld him from a distance as they were approaching to descend down into their camp, and they dropped their burdens of a seed which they had gathered, and they ran to him, and baby Kenna was in his cradle at the side of his mother, and they threw themselves down weeping at the feet of Anokased. And when the asib was cast down, it spilled out, and dust was seen to arise for the first time in Eden. And when they fell to the earth at the feet of Anokased, dust flew up, and for the first time there could be seen dust upon their garments, and untidiness was seen to be in the presence of God in Eden. And baby Kenna cried his first cry of fear. And they said together, Father, we are afraid, and now our child is afraid with us here in your presence. And then Anokased said softly, why is this so? Have you strayed to use some of the elements of creation in Eden in a manner that is not according to the life which they have been given? And Yahsequad knew in his heart that they had done so, but he did not understand concerning it. And Anokased took each one by their hands, and he said, see, this is why it specifically said he knew, right? I'm harping on this, guys, because this is very important, right? We have to understand what each other is good and bad at so that we can not make the same mistakes. And Yahsequad told the Lord all things concerning the nakedness of a room, and the doubts and the fears of her words and behavior had brought them. And Kawa rehearsed all that had transpired when she paid heed to the voice urging her to deny her motherhood, and of petition to the cedar tree, and how it grew darker than the rest. And they wept as they rehearsed their doubts and fears, that they might fall short in raising up baby Kenna unto him, without failure or disappointments. And upon hearing it, Anokased wept together with them. And after a while, Anokased replied, the cedar tree is given life by the feelings of tenaciously clinging to all good that is in you. And because of your doubts and fears, you required it to be used as an element of your desires to help you to deny how excellently you can raise up children to me. and you were brought to doubt and fear the surety of all that I have taught you in raising up your child, and you have been falsely led into thinking to act upon the idea that it was good that you would give the child back, because you could not raise him up in a manner that would please me. And for all these days, the child has felt your desire to give him back to me, which thing cannot be. Wow. So the infant can feel, right? See, just because children can't speak our language, that doesn't mean that they can't speak the language of feelings. Because the child pretty much felt that, wow, my parents don't love me. You can't fool children, bro. You can't. Is Eve the soul, seat of emotions, psyche? What do you mean? No, we're talking about the literal, or like the literal quote unquote Eve or Kawa, right? Excuse me. And for these days, the child has felt your desire to give him back to me. Excuse me, which thing cannot be done? For I have given him to be your child, and it is bound in heaven by my prayers at his birth. And this is so because of the decrees of creation. And it came to pass that the Lord continued to speak tenderly to them. And he said to them, so he did not roar like, what have you done? Oh, like that's not how the Most High is, bro. That's not how he is. And you have heard it said in times past that in the day that you should sin, to use the elements of creation in a manner for which they were not intended, that all the world would change for you. That's the type of power we have right now. We can change the world with the elements the same way how our first parents changed the world. We can. Come now, we must be diligent to prepare for that which is to come. And after saying this, the Lord tenderly kissed their hands, and he bid them to wash themselves in the brook of the meadow. And he saw that there was dust upon their garments. And after they washed themselves, they were comforted, and their garments were clean. And it came. And by the way, the Most High already forgave them, right? When we sin, we're not hurting the Most High. We're hurt. We are, but we're hurting ourselves more than anything, right? So he's just like, so he's sad that we're doing it to ourselves. But when we sin, when we do certain things, we're hurting ourselves. Like we're come on, man. The reason why I'm saying that is because you can't think of the Most High as this angry person in the sky, this abusive father in the sky that's overly emotional, and he's going to get pissed if you do anything that it doesn't say in his little rule book. That's not how he works. It's not how he works. Just because your parent was like that, just because my parents were like that, that does not mean that the ultimate parent is like that. Nah, man, that's not how he is. It's more so like there's a cause and effect for everything. You do this, and this is what's going to come to you, right? For that, just one last thing, for the omens that they had in the Aztec Empire, right? There was that woman, and they still have that legend of that woman. I forgot what she's called. The woman that was screaming, right, in the streets, right before Cortez came and showed up, and she was saying, "My children, what have you done? My children, where will you go? What have you done? Where will you go?" That's based on their decision to be wicked, to do what they wanted to do, right? So it's just like, well, where are you gonna go? Like, what are you gonna do, right? So that was our decision, right? It was our decision. Choose some comments. That just made me laugh. Sometimes I think the Most High responds to me when I mess up or think I did. No, no, no. If anything, he's just like, damn, my little daughter. Like, what could I, like, how can I figure out how to help her next time to where she can make a better decision? Like, that's more so how he is. Like, not their God, their Yahweh, El, or whatever thing that they got going on, where they're God, right? That's their stuff. That's the wicked stuff, bro. No, bro. The natives, they believe in the Great Spirit, the ultimate undying love. Like, they don't believe in that other stuff that the heathen got going on, man. Respond to me like that, all angry. No, no, no. Matzah doesn't do that. The Most High doesn't do that. The earth does not do that. The Holy Spirit does not do that. The Waka, Kawai, the Holy Watchers, the Erkadeshoi, whatever, they don't do that. So, no, they're not doing that. The only one who responds angrily like that is Semi Haza. He's the one who does that. Uh, La Llorona. Oh, yeah, that's it. Thank you. My brother, Precept Master Sabal. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Grateful the Father is the same always. Indeed. Indeed. He is always the same. And he has not stopped being like that. Right? Most of the dealings that we've had that it talks about in the scriptures is actually with Matzah. You know, he's the one who we dealt with like that. The most part. Like where he's crying with Aki and he's saying how he's gonna scatter us, to the four corners. Yeah, that's Matzah, bro. You know? After he gave us everything. And when we talk about the elves and stuff, you're going to realize how much he really gave us. Like, he really gave us the earth, man. Yes, the Most High is even keel. I think you mean at all times, never changes. And that's what a true leader does. He's always the same. He's consistent. He is pure evil. Yes, he is. And it came to pass that they walked together with the Lord toward the hill where the sheep were. And when they came to the meadow, they stopped and beheld the sheep. And they saw that 7 of them lay dead upon the ground. And the Lord comforted them over the loss of the sheep. And the Lord bid Kawa return to her camp. And he and Yaatsukwat continued on toward the sheep. And after a while they returned with the skins of the sheep prepared to be made into clothing. Hold on, let me skip down. I want to talk about Kenna or Cain. And he taught them how to make clothing out of wool, right? Out of sheep, quote unquote sheep. Who knows? Was it sheep or was it alpaca? I don't even know, bro. Do we know? I don't know. Okay, let's skip down to verse 37. Now it came to pass that a friend of Arum heard the news that now a tree in Eden was not clothed in righteousness. And the news of it came to the knowledge of Matzor the Decadent. And he knew of that which Kawa had done, and her use of that tree. And Matzor spoke with much excitement and great determination before all his fellows. And he said to them, draw near this day, and let us make a solemn vow together, for we shall raise up Kenna, and have ourselves a man in Eden. Damn, bro. And the vow was rehearsed to all who would do the will of Semihaza, and they delighted in his deeds. And thus was the child swept into the war in heaven. And the misuse of the spirit that gives life was magnified, and it was expanded in the midst of Eden. And the desires of God for Kenna were in jeopardy. And Matzor had the expectation that now all of creation would return to the state of Olam, where he would be exalted. But you will see that in this expression he will be disappointed, because this is so because evil cannot comprehend the power of loving kindness and forgiveness, and evil cannot know that the temporal world came into being by the word of his power. And it came to pass that after Enoch had made them clothes, he took baby Kenna, and he put the wedding grass upon him for a garment, and he called it a re, because it soaks up the waters of purification, as it did at their wedding. And he gave the needle that he used to sew their garments to Kawa, and they both knew that he loved them dearly. So, guys, this is pretty much where you get some of the ornaments or the ideas and the start of Christmas. You have the cedar tree, And now you have sweet baby Jesus, or is it sweet baby Cain? And the baby is a signification of pretty much you like giving the child to Satan, right? That's pretty much what it's about. That's why you worship the same tree every year. Not you, but this is why people do it all around the world. They worship the same tree. This is where it came from. It came from the first or the second sin, right? From the garden. So this is where you get baby Jesus from. This is where you get the mother and the son, right? On the left hand side, not the good side, because you have so-called Mary and Joshua. But here you also have this quote unquote Messiah figure who was also used from this point on, right? Then you had the doings of Nimrod, the doings of Japheth, right? We can go into a bunch of different things about what Nimrod did and how it connects with Christmas and stuff like that, right? I haven't gone over that stuff in quite a long time, but I think even the boar or the pig or I don't even know what people do in Christmas. Honestly, I did not grow up in a churchy household, so I don't really know. Um, but yeah, that's what people do, man. Everything started from this, right? The worship of the cedar tree. Now everyone puts it in their house, right? It's crazy, bro. Shalom, everyone. Hey, thank you for stopping by, bro. Appreciate you. Shalom, everyone. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Let me think. Let me see if I have anything else I wanted to share. And in fact, hold on. Because I find this interesting, right? Because there is a place in Venezuela. I've went over this before, right? And I don't know if you guys can see it. Hope you guys can see it. Let me turn this music down. But this is Mount Roraima. Now, many people, including the natives of this area, say that this actually is a giant tree stump. It's beautiful, right? Absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you guys see it. But anyway, you see these two right here, right? The natives actually say that one of these is the tree of life and one of these is the tree of evil. I'm not making that up. They literally do say that. So I just find that pretty interesting. Are these the trees? Who knows, bro? Are these the trees that or is one of these the trees that got prayed over? Again, let me show that one more time. I went over this before. I don't know, bro. But yeah, so that's pretty much the origin of Christmas. And people put it in their house. I think some people have said that the tree is supposed to represent Nimrod himself or something like that. Like he's supposed to be reborn in the tree. But either way, people all over the world are constantly showing reverence to this, like his greatest victory pretty much over us, right? And this fills him with power, with strength. This is why he's also used it. He's used the story of the Messiah to trick people into doing it, right? He's used it. It's crazy. That's fire. I'm gonna add this to my Wicked Holidays playlist. Oh, that's a great honor because your videos on the holidays, man, or the holidays, be fire, bro. So that's a great honor. This holiday has a stronghold on our people, but our prayers and agreement a couple years ago basically canceled this damn holiday. You think so? I hope so. I hope so soon, man. Because especially up here like the more northern you get in like New York and stuff, like they're real pagan up here, bro. And I'm not talking about the quote unquote good pagan. I'm talking about like the Christmassy Christian pagan, like celebrate all the wicked high holy days, right? Or holidays, like the brother said. Like they're real Christian up here. Is Jeremiah 10 talking about the tree as well? Let me see. Thank you for that, bro. Hear ye the word that the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. Oh, this one. Yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh, bro. Yes, this is it. Let me continue. Thank you for that, bro. This is a fantastic scripture. My dad used to read this to me all the time. We literally read this every single year, right? Wait a minute, bro. I got another one. I got another one for you. I got another one for you. I got another one for you. I gotta find it though. I gotta find it though. But it's in the Maccabees. It's in the Maccabees, bro. For y'all who know that story, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's finish reading. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, and the work of the hands of the workmen with an axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails, and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree. They speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doth it appear, or appeared, appertain, excuse me, for as much as all the wise of the nations and in all their kingdoms, there is none like unto thee. So, let me see. Oh, skipping down. Silver spread into plates brought from Tarshish. You guys know that. I think that's England. And gold from Euphaz. I'm not sure where that is. And the work of the workmen and the hands of the fonder. Purple and gold is their clothing, and they are all the work of cunning men. That sounds like the Phoenicians. Interesting. Thank you for that scripture. Now I have to find the other one in the Maccabees. So give me a little bit of time to find that, guys. Yes, it is wonderful scripture that shows me how the Xmas tree really is. I don't know if I should do this, guys. Let me know if I should do this because I want to be really petty. I said this at the beginning of the live stream. They pretty much made me open their lock to their their shed, right? Just so that they could drag out this damn Christmas tree tonight because they didn't have it up. And they were just begging me to do it. They didn't tell me why I was opening the shed. They just said, we really need you to open the shed. I'm like, okay, sure. Like, my grandma asked me to do something, I'm gonna do it, bro. That's my grandma, right? And then they they pull out this damn tree. So let me know if I should be a little petty and print out this Jeremiah 10 and post it on their door. I kind of want to do it, but I also don't want to get a lecture. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Don't do it. Okay. My sister said don't do it, so I won't do it. Yeah, don't be petty. Okay, I won't do it then. Oh, I think I found it. Woo! Okay, I found it. 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 Okay, we're back in business. So we are in First Maccabees chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now pay attention to this, guys. This is verse 59. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 59. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice the idol altar upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God, the 25th day. And this says it was in the month of Caslu. Well, let's look up what month is Caslu. That couldn't be December, right? I don't know, they went by the moon calendar at this time. I don't go by the moon calendar right now, but that's what they were doing at this time. So it's the 9th month of the Jewish calendar, and the 9th month is in December. Even in the solar calendar, the 9th month is in December. So it's the 15th day of the 9th month, or the 12th month in the Gregorian calendar. So on the 25th day of the month of Caslu, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God, at which time, according to the commandment, they did put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged their infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. So this was going on, right, with our different wars, with the Kittim and stuff like that, right? No, just leave it alone. Only the Father can convict the heart. Yeah, I don't want to do it, though. I don't want to do it. Find a way to reprove in loving kindness. You bring a good point. I don't know how because if I show them that scripture, they're just gonna get mad, honestly, because they want to believe that they're good, right? I can't really say anything, so I don't know if I should even say anything. I should just pray for them, honestly. We don't have trees where I live. Really? They don't have trees in Alaska, bro? I thought there were a lot of trees up there. That's crazy. You think that's something? My mom has 15 sisters. They all made a YouTube video singing Christmas crap. Oh man. I want to be petty and send them all the video I did today. Oh man. No, thank you. That actually helped me out. Now I don't feel as bad. Wow, I don't know how I don't feel as bad reading that, but I don't. Shalom Ak, thank you for your kind words. You have our support and love. You too as well, the both of you. I'm honored that you would stop by on this little live stream that I'm doing. But I think that's about it. I think that's all I really wanted to share. So yeah, that's pretty much the origin. The baby Jesus is Kenna or Cain, and the Christmas tree or the cedar tree is the tree that Satan tricked our first mother into worshiping. So this is what he's also tricking everyone else into worshiping today too. You know what I mean? And it's sad, bro. So thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys. We'll do a little bit tomorrow. I'm also releasing a video later on today. Probably literally after this live stream, actually. What time is it? Yeah, it's almost 10. So may peace be with you. Shalom.